What's going on, everyone? Today I'm bringing you the top 20 coasters I did on my latest Florida trip. Even though I've been to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, I'm leaving those out because I visited those 5 years ago, so I don't really have a good opinion on those right now. I also didn't go to the Fun Spot parks or the other two Disney parks, and of course Iron Gwazi and Icebreaker haven't opened yet, so they won't be on here. This data is full of some solid, great, and amazing coasters. So let's get into my ranking. Number 20 is Air Grover at Busch Gardens, Tampa. This one's in the upper half of kiddie coasters I've done. It's pretty good for a kiddie coaster. It's comfortable for someone my age and size. It's just extremely short and very mild, of course. Nothing else needs to be said. Number 19 is Super Grover's Boxcar Derby at SeaWorld Orlando. This kiddie ride is slightly taller and faster than Air Grover. It's pretty comfortable and is slightly more than Air Grover, so it's higher, but again, there's nothing much that needs to be said here. Number 18 is Sand Serpent at Busch Gardens, Tampa. This is the lamest wild mouse ever ridden. It's the tamest. It's actually probably the roughest one I've done. It's really nothing special at all, and I literally only appreciate the ride because it boosts my credit count. Number 17 is Scorpion at Busch Gardens, Tampa. The vertical loop is the only good part of the ride. The rest is just alright, and it's not something I'd probably do again when I go back to BGT. It's my first short golf, so I'm excited to see what the better ones have to offer. Number 16 is Flight of the Hippogriff at Universal Islands of Adventure. It is more of a family ride than Scorpion, but I didn't expect it to be fairly intense, which it was. I think expectation factor played a role in this being higher than Scorpion. I did enjoy myself a little more on this though. This is one of the better family coasters I've done for sure. Number 15 is Tigress at Busch Gardens, Tampa. The only reason it's this high is because of the first half, but both times I rode it, when I reached the crest of the top part of the ride, it crushed my thighs, and not in an airtime way. It just crushed them with no airtime, and it was actual pain. The comfort collars do nothing, so I don't know why enthusiasts complain about them so much. The lap bar on this is the real problem. It is fun before you get to that part, but I was really hoping to like this ride a lot. Number 14 is Montu at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Since it's considered the best B&M invert by every single American enthusiast out there, I was expecting to have a strong opinion on this. I thought I'd either love it or hate it, and I found this ride just to be okay. The foot pain is nothing compared to Batman the Ride clones, which I liked. It's a little more whippy than them, which is a good thing. I like no foot pain and either whippiness or hang time. Mostly hang time, but whippiness is good too. And that's why I like Great Bear, no foot pain, just whippiness. And Banshee, no foot pain, just lots of hang time. Montu has whippiness, but more foot pain than Great Bear. The trenches were alright, but didn't really improve the ride too much. I did it second to back and second to front. I preferred second to back because it didn't hurt my feet as much somehow. And the first drop and drop off the mid-course were better towards the back. I don't dislike this ride, but it's not anything I really like either. It's just another ride to me. Number 13 is Incredible Hulk at Universal Islands of Adventure. I'd be lying if I said this met expectation or passed it. The launch was fun into the inversion. That was the highlight of the ride, but overall, a little disappointing, especially after it being closed when I went in 2016. Made me really anticipated for it. I liked the ride. It made me gray out, but that's not what I look for in a coaster usually. I prefer when Tennessee Tornado did it, but it's fine. I'm sure I'll do it again the next time I'm at Islands of Adventure. Number 12 is Revenge of the Mummy at Universal Studios. I've always heard this is the best indoor coaster. I know it won't be, but it's definitely one of the better ones in the world. It has some really cool theming effects, and of course the ejector airtime in the dark is awesome. I did this ride twice, both times in the front, so I can imagine the back row would be insane. Hopefully next time I can try it back row. Either way, it's a really fun ride. Number 11 is Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld Orlando. I was pleasantly surprised by this ride. It's arguably a roller coaster. There is a section where I think it acts more as a boat, but I don't know, I'll let it slide. The indoor theming is pretty good. The first drop is very good and gives some airtime actually. And that indoor coaster section was a surprise. I didn't really know what to expect there. It had bank turns and another fun splashdown. This might seem high, but I'm a huge fan of water rides. I love this ride. Number 10 is Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. If I only did this after my first ride, it would be 3 or 4. But unfortunately, the same thing happened with this as it did with Superman Ultimate Flight. It got worse the more I rode. These rides are meant for parks with more coasters to me, like the one at Six Flags Great Adventure. I'd only do that once anyways. But at a park like this, I'm forced to ride it multiple times to give some variety. And flyers aren't very good for that. They get worse in every ride for me. The pretzel loop hits every time, but the rest of the ride is only good the first ride or two. Either way, the pretzel loop makes this ride super fun, because it is probably my favorite inversion of all time. It's insane. It's a fun ride, but I wish these stayed consistently good on every ride. Number 9 is SheiKra at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Dive coasters don't hit as much as they used to for me, but I still think they're really fun rides. I'd barely take this over Valraven because you get more airtime, but it does only have 3 elements on the ride, which sucks. That's why I take Yukon Striker over this. Also because that has a better drop than SheiKra. I was hoping it would be better, but it's just too short for me to rank a ride like this any higher. It's one of my favorite coasters to watch off-ride though, because of the splashdown. It can feel pretty good on a hot day, which is every day because it's in Florida. Number 8 is Haggard's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure at Universal Islands of Adventure. First and foremost, please shorten the name of it. That's excessive. This ride was different from what I was expecting it to be. It was more tame than I was hoping, by the slightest. But I forgot about the spike and loved the drop track. The launches were good. I really enjoyed this ride. It sucks I can only do it once because the theming is great, it's got a good length, and the ride itself is pretty fun. Maybe this will be higher with a different ride, we'll see. Number 7 is Cobra's Curse at Busch Gardens, Tampa. This was my second favorite in the park at one point, and actually my first, and it's now my third, because this ride is pure fun. The forwards and backwards sections are fun, but the spinning section is just crazy. This makes me think Time Traveler is the top 50 coaster in the world for sure, because this thing is mild compared to that. I can't wait to ride that someday. I know you might want to make fun of me for this ranking, but I had a lot of fun on it. I also like the elevator lift and the great views of Montu on this ride. No complaints for me. Number 6 is Kumba at Busch Gardens, Tampa. I honestly expected this to be an average coaster, and I didn't think it was going to be elite or anything. But it's really a great ride. I did it 6 times when I went. I ended the day off with 3 night rides on it in a row. And that 0G roll, aka the hell roll, is so good. It ejects you out of your seat and it's very sustained. I did back row every time for extra whip. The drop is good, gave me butterflies most of my rides, and the tunnel is good. I like the intensity on it. This was a really good ride. Number 5 is Kraken at SeaWorld Orlando. This ride to me is like a floorless version of Kumba. The reason it's higher is simply because I like the floorless model better than the sit-down model. It also has a better drop, and the dip into the tunnel is slightly more aggressive. The 0G roll, just like on Kumba, is the best part of the ride. I love it. It sucks I only got to do this ride twice because I had to catch my flight, but at least I had the chance to get on it. Also, wish I got a POV of it, but maybe next time. Number 4 is Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens, Tampa. There's definitely some more insane coasters than out there, but it's just a really fun ride. The launches get the job done. The inversion doesn't really do anything, but the turning around like a cheetah is fun. And the drop along with the airtime hill after the third launch gives you that feeling in your stomach, along with some solid airtime. Please try a night ride on this if you can. You won't regret it. I got to ride it 3 times in a row in pitch black and couldn't see where I was going, especially with POV glasses on the last ride. I got a night ride POV with the firework displays, grand finale right on top of the tree. Unfortunately, it didn't save because it overheated. Yeah, that sucks. That was a pretty cool ride though, and Cheetah Hunt grew on me throughout the day. I think it's the best in the park personally. Number 3 is Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket at Universal Studios. I only got 1 ride on it, but it was in the back row and it was amazing. Enough to make my top 3 most underrated coasters of all time, and possibly my most underrated. At least in the back, you get ejector airtime on the drop, the non-inverting loop, which really wowed me, and the drops off the mid-course, which do kill the pacing, but as long as the drops off of all of them are good, I'm not complaining. The duration is also really good, and I used the secret playlist. I played Lose Yourself by Eminem, because that was the best song available, in my opinion. If you're wondering, that song was code 306. No complaints with this ride, really. Airtime, long duration, and comfortable. This ride is awesome, at least in the back row. Number 2 is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. I would have been shocked if this wasn't my 1 and 2 heading home from the trip. Mako is way better than Candemonium, and at least at the moment, it's towards the bottom of my top 10. It's a fantastic ride with a very strong floater airtime, a great drop, and it's very comfortable. It's not the longest B&M Hyper I've done, but it doesn't feel way too short. It has enough airtime moments to satisfy. It's definitely not my favorite B&M Hyper, but as of now, probably my number 2. It's overrated as far as a lot of enthusiasts claiming it as the number 1 Hyper in America, but I expected it to be where I ranked it, so it met expectation. My best ride was at night with my foggy eye views on, so you can see that POV towards the end of my SeaWorld vlog. It was wild, but not quite the wildest ride in Florida. Before this year, it would have been, but... Number 1 is Velocicoaster at Universal Islands of Adventure. I mean, it's the best coaster in the world. It has the powerful ejector, crazy launches, insane theming, greatest collection of inversions, amazing setting, and again, it's all one ride. Velocicoaster is perfect. You can nitpick things, but even that's difficult. This ride is absolutely relentless, and it's not just a family ride with an extreme section. No, it's an intimate blitz doing intimate blitz things. And I'm not talking about Cheetah Hunt. This has better airtime than Maverick does, better inversions, better theming. Maverick has the better launch, but overall, Velocicoaster destroys the competition. And when it comes to Florida, it's not even close. Velocicoaster is the best coaster in Florida, and even when they open the lawn decoration in Tampa, I highly doubt this legendary coaster at Iowa would be dethroned. So that'll do it for the top 20 coasters I did in Florida. Feel free to disagree, as you probably do with most of the list anyway. This is probably the best state for coasters now that Velocicoaster is here. You really need to come here as soon as possible. It's highly recommended. That's all. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later.